In the dust-choked trenches of World War I, in humid jungles of Vietnam, in covert night operations in Afghanistan, one handgun has stayed at the side of soldiers for more than a century. A pistol adopted in 1911 that still sees duty today. What makes a piece of metal and springs endure while dozens of newer designs fade into history? This is the story of the longest-serving handgun in the world, the Colt M1911. Watch the complete documentary to uncover its hidden history and subscribe for more lost legends of war. It is March 29, 1911. The summer heat presses down on the newly established U.S. Army trials grounds. Engineers, generals, ordnance officers squint in sunlight, inspecting pistols brought forward for evaluation. The U.S. military wants a standard sidearm, something more powerful, more reliable than the revolvers and early automatics in service. The threat is real. Insurgents in the Philippines, lawless bandits, colonial conflicts, everything shows up in these pistol trials. Enter John Moses Browning, an American gunsmith whose name will echo throughout arms history. His design is simple, brutal, single action. 45 ACP, magazine-fed, powerful. Opponents in the trials falter under heat, mud, poor lubrication. Browning's pistol still delivers. The Army adopts it as the Model 1911, later modified to 1911A1. It is a handgun built for the harshest conditions. Soldiers in muddy trenches hear the crack of this pistol. Marines on Pacific Islands feel its recoil. In bitter cold of Korea, the 1911 still fires. In humid Vietnam, parts wear, but its mechanism, its heart, persists. The world changes. Wars shift tactics, enemies adapt, technology presses forward, yet through decades, this pistol is passed down, reconditioned, remanufactured, used. The stakes are more than armament. Identity, reliability, trust in one's sidearm in close-quarters fights. Lives depended on whether it functioned in mud, rain, snow, sweat, chaos. And danger was closing in, not from external enemies only, but from changing military doctrine, from NATO standardization, from politics and logistics threatening to render this trusted handgun obsolete. World War I arrives. The M1911 is still young but already tested. Soldiers clutch it through trenches thick with mud and death. The barbed wire, the gas, the doomed charges across no man's land, this pistol is their last defense. It performs. It jams sometimes, but far less often than many before it. The Army orders more, other manufacturers are brought in. The Springfield Armory, Colt, Remington UMC, even civilian factories all churn out 1911s. Then the interwar years. War ends, treaties happen, budgets shrink. The 1911 is maintained, armies pare back, but when flashpoints erupt, Latin America, Haiti, minor border skirmishes, the pistol is there, carried by officers, military police, expeditionary forces. It is the sidearm of nearly every U.S. soldier who might need one. World War II brings global scale. In the Pacific, island after island, the 1911 sees combat in jungles, in basements of urban fights. In Europe, in the hedgerows among paratroopers, it is used in close quarters. More than 1.9 million 1911A1s are produced during WW2. Allies receive it, guerrillas use it, resistance fighters who never fire rifles often know this pistol. Its 45 ACP round is powerful, feared for stopping power. Then comes Korea. Cold, snow, mountain passes. Again, the 1911 persists. Soldiers dislike many modern pistols but trust this one. Vietnam, in steaming jungles, booby traps, tunnels, still the 1911 is used. After that, peace in the world is punctuated by smaller conflicts. Lebanon, Central America, interventions. Through it all, new handguns are designed. Semi-autos in 9mm double-stack magazines, lighter frames, etc. Tactics evolve, and pressure builds within the U.S. military. standardize around NATO calibers, lighten weight, reduce cost, simplify supply chains. By the 1970s and early 1980s, the official move is made. The Beretta M9 9mm is adopted in 1985, replacing the 1911 for most U.S. service members. It seems the end might have come, but the 1911 does not disappear. Special Operations Forces, Marine Force Recon, elite units, CQB specialists, units that demand stopping power and familiarity, still keep the 1911 variants in use. New versions appear: MEU SOC, M45A1, modernized but with the same heart. Through betrayals by time, budget cuts, standardization, the M1911 survives. The dramatic turning point comes when the world expects the 1911 to be dead, mid-1980s, when the U.S. military formally retires it as the standard service pistol. For the first time in over 7 decades, a gun designed in the early 1900s is being replaced by a modern, lighter, higher capacity, smaller caliber pistol. The weight of tradition is great, but the tides of politics and logistics are stronger. Yet, as ceremonies happen, medals awarded, the 1911's legacy seems assured. But then, new conflicts arise: asymmetric warfare, urban combat, special missions where every inch, every round, every ounce of stopping power matters. The elite units, Force Recon, Navy SEALs, Special Prosecutors, push for versions of the 1911 that endure: improved rails for optics, safer hammers, desert coatings, night sights. The military awards contracts for the M45A1 close quarters battle pistol in the 2010s, issuing upgraded 1911s to special units in Iraq and Afghanistan. This is not just nostalgia, it is survival of trust when soldiers' lives hang by a trigger pull. The climax, the moment when official doctrine may cast aside this old design, but human choices of men in the field, of leaders who had served with it, of units unwilling to compromise in close fight, bring it back in select roles, still in combat zones. The decision to maintain supply of spare parts, to keep skilled armorers able to service it, those are choices seldom made for outdated hardware, but made they were. The M1911, more than 110 years after its adoption, remains in limited U.S. military use. It is no longer the standard issue sidearm for most soldiers, yet its legacy is anything but retired. In special operations, in ceremonies, in law enforcement, it continues to fire. Its design inspired nearly every semi-automatic service pistol that followed. Its ergonomics, its stopping power, its reliability in harsh conditions set the benchmark. Historically, the M1911 marks a turning point, from revolvers to self-loading pistols, from small-caliber debates to the power of .45 ACP, from purely military tools to shared symbols of identity in American arms culture. It shows how technological innovation sometimes yields weapons that do not just serve their moment, but transcend it. Human themes emerge: trust, heritage, stubbornness, the tension between innovation and tradition. Soldiers trust what they know. The men who carried the 1911 in muddy jungles passed down stories. They repaired it, polished it, refused to swap it out until absolutely forced to. And even when replaced, select groups refused to let it go, because sometimes good enough isn't enough in life-or-death moments. As we look forward, newer designs, lighter, more compact, higher capacity, will continue to appear. But for the M1911, time has done little more than polish its legend. It remains a reminder that sometimes the longest-serving handgun is not only about steel and mechanism, it equates about people, choices, and the trust forged in combat under fire. So next time you hear the crack of a .45 ACP in the dark, think back to 1911 and the men who swore by it. The longest-serving handgun in the world still echoes in our time. If you enjoyed this hidden history, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more untold stories from the shadows.